Hi everyone, my name is Mr. Watson, and today we're going to be looking at some techniques that you can use to make your persuasive writing more effective. It's important to note that not every one of these techniques will be appropriate for every kind of persuasive writing that you do. For example, a technique that works well in a speech might not be as effective in an essay or a leaflet. With a better understanding of each technique, hopefully that will help you build the confidence you'll need to be able to decide which techniques are the best to use for whichever type of text you're trying to produce. The techniques we'll be looking at today are often put into what we call a mnemonic, which is a pattern of letters or ideas that helps us to remember important information. This particular mnemonic has a few slightly different variations, but the one we'll be looking at is the acronym DAFORESTI. The D stands for direct address. This is the use of the second person pronoun you, and this allows you to speak directly to your audience. An example of this in use is in Barack Obama's final speech as President of the United States, when he says, "Every day I learned from you. You made me a better president, and you made me a better man." The A stands for anecdote. An anecdote is a personal story or experience that can be used to help illustrate your point. The artist Pink used an anecdote in her VMA acceptance speech in 2017 to help convey her views on self-image and conformity. She told a touching story about an experience and a conversation that she'd had with her 6-year-old daughter. The F stands for facts. A fact is a piece of information that is known or proven to be true. Many persuasive pieces of writing claim to have carried out research, and they use facts as evidence to help support their point. The O stands for opinion. The opposite of a fact, an opinion is somebody's point of view. Effectively, every piece of persuasive writing, whether it's a letter or a leaflet, is about arguing a particular point of view. It's important then that you are clear about what your opinion is and why you think it. The R can stand for two techniques, the first being repetition. Repetition is when the same word or phrase is used several times to emphasize it and make it stand out more to the audience. Repetition was used in Martin Luther King Jr.'s famous "I Have a Dream" speech in 1963, where he repeated the phrase several times throughout to help convey his message. The other technique for R is rhetorical question. This is when a question is posed to the audience to make a point and doesn't actually require an answer. These types of questions can be used in many different types of persuasive text to get the audience thinking about a particular idea. The E also stands for two techniques. The first is emotive language. Emotive language is any vocabulary that evokes an emotion within the audience. This all depends on how you want your audience to feel. Do you want them to be angry? Do you want them to be inspired? Do you want them to feel guilty? The emotion you want your audience to experience will influence the type of words you will use in your writing, so think carefully about choosing the most effective vocabulary that you can so that it has the result you want. The second technique E stands for is expert opinion. An expert opinion is when you bring in somebody else's point of view, particularly somebody with knowledge and expertise in a specific area. For instance, a persuasive leaflet trying to sell a new type of toothpaste might use a quotation from a dentist to help convince the audience that the toothpaste is so good it's approved by experts of teeth. If you're writing a letter to convince your local politician that litter is becoming a problem in your town, your expert opinion might be people who live in your town and can contribute their own perspective on the issue. The S stands for statistics. Statistics are basically facts with numbers. Percentages, fractions, survey data, all information that is as accurate as possible. Again, these appear frequently in all kinds of persuasive texts to reinforce the perception the writer or speaker really knows their stuff and should therefore be believed. The T stands for triple. For whatever reason, humans seem to remember and like the sound of things when they are in groups of three. Beginning, middle, and end, every little helps. Blood, sweat, and tears. All examples of key pieces of information being grouped into threes. Try to use this technique when listing information such as facts or when giving a description. Finally, we have the I, which stands for imperative. An imperative is a command and is used to basically tell people what to do. Vote for change. Do not enter. Make a difference. These examples are all instructing the audience to take action. Used correctly in an inappropriate way, imperative sentences can be a very effective tool in persuading your audience. Okay, so that is DAFORESTI. Remember, not every technique here will be appropriate for every type of persuasive text and topic. Try to think about the benefits of each one before selecting the techniques that you think will really help to convey your message. That's all for this one. Thanks for watching, as always, and I hope to see you next time.